Welcome to the weekend show with Medium J. Today, you're coming at you. It's Friday night, I guess, or Saturday morning. I just realized that my whole life. You ever realize when your whole life has been empty? You've been missing something, right? All the chains, cars, jewelry, you know, clothes, women, hoes, the materialistic stuff that you've been chasing, money, the success of your career or ambition, you've been driven, you're driving down a road, you're just focused on a destination, but you barely enjoy the journey as is. You're empty, substance abuse, smoking cigs, whatever, doing drugs, whatever you're out, the outcome that whatever the thing, your input is not your outcome, right? Your input that you've been putting in, you feel as though the fuel that you put into your whatever, you name it. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, no matter who you know, all your relationships flail in comparison to just one thing. Like one thing, so you see someone talk about something, and you ever hear someone just give you the right, and you're like, where was this my whole life? You hear it could be a song, it could be a little joke a comedian said, could be a little blurb. Hell, it could be a family circus. I don't know. I don't know if they have news comic strip. They still got comic strips, but you see a little blurb and you're like, why am I taking myself so seriously, right? Kind of like the Joker. Why so serious? But you internalize that, and you truly capture just like that childhood spirit. Maybe even if you have kids, right? If for a lot of mothers, right? They learn to just watch their kids play in the sandbox. That the kids are running around having fun playing tag. Like why was I so worried about my job? Like she's on sabbatical, or I guess it's not a sabbatical. It's what a paternal leave, right? Or whatever it is, right? Either way, that doesn't matter. The point is, right, the fulfillment that you get from just watching your child play, you know, soccer, chasing the ball around, and it's almost scoring a goal, and yeah, almost got it. And you ever see like maybe just a flower on the side of the, and you're like, there's no garden here. It's all weeds or it's dead grass, but one little flower grows. I'll tell you that right now. I witnessed this. I stuck around with this man for a while. Like, I'm gonna be real honest, right? I was with this guy probably about since I was I want to say 16, 17 years old. And I don't even, he doesn't know me. I barely even know him in real life. I've just been watching and following him and his progression. This man, became a very influential figure in life, right? Really big during COVID times, right? Very big, very prominent figure. And I'll get to it, but you may have seen him on such things as podcasting and UFC fight networks and whatnot. But this man, he struggled with something internally. He was a martial artist from the beginning. A lot of people said he couldn't do it. He tried to get into comedy. A lot of people said he couldn't do it. This man, his name is Joe Rogan, if you haven't heard. It's the number one podcast in history, right? It's number one. It's been number one. It's always been number one. Spotify gives them billions of dollars. Billions. $500,000 is still a billion. You know what I mean? And like, it's if half a million every couple of years, you're getting a billion in 6 or 7 years of podcasting. and that's just, this guy has literally 70 hours a week of podcast talking, right? And, for years, I've studied the guy. I've listened to everything. I listen to every single second of Joe Rogan. And every single day there's a bet on Polymarket. They go, well, it's the over-unders on whether or not Joe Rogan will tell a joke on his podcast. I always go, he's got to get one, right? His name, even though the comedian in his asterisks of lists of when they list his credentials, it used to be comedian, podcast / UFC announcer / podcaster. Podcaster usurped the UFC, and now the comedian keeps falling back. Then they see as appeared in news radio, as and then it goes Dana White's friend, and then it goes comedian, and I went, fuck. I took my hat off, right, in real life and in metaphorically speaking. I go, this guy. Every day, I lost a lot of money. Let's be real. I sold a house. I left my wife and kids. I was living in a box. I said, please, Joe. Eventually he's still a comedian at heart. He gave up fighting to do this. There has to be one joke in the decades. He has his own comedy. He has his own comedy bar or comedy club and bar, right? It's not just the club bar. It's not just a bar that's just fronts as a club. It's a comedy club. This guy is going to tell a joke, and I prayed and I hoped on the 17th rendition season of Parks and Protect Our Parks with Ari Shaffir, Matt Damon's ugly fucking... No, not Matt. Matt Rife's ugly brother, fucking Mark Norman. The drunk Shane Gillis. He told the funniest joke I've ever heard, ever. And period. Listen, I got a clip. We got a clip. Oh, fuck. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. Oh, damn it. It's just one of those, dude. Ah, jeez. Just falling down, man. I swear, man. Some of these. Honestly, I really should get it's kind of off right there. I really should get a stand, though. Jesus Christ, man. It's ironic that this is happening when I'm trying to be serious. Here. Fucking god damn, it's never like this. Ever. Okay, there we go. We'll get the hat to balance it out. Okay. It's the leveling. We have a clip, okay? We'll just get into the clip, right? We've already spent enough time dwindling away on... Okay, so just imagine everything before this it's essentially a new era dawned in mankind because Joe Rogan finally he didn't just tell a joke. He may have told the greatest joke ever, right? Now, I'll break it down for you step by step. Let's go. Right. It's gonna take a little bit. It's loading. I don't know why. I just keep fucking.
100%. But also, I don't want to fuck up this guy's moment and say, "Hey, I got nothing to do with Marshall Rogan coin." I don't give a fuck. This guy just want to fight. If there's a scam going on, let everybody else figure it out. But it was the weirdest thing in the world. Like my dog.
They'll do anything.
It's a coin, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like halfway through the Parks and Rec the Protect Our Parks 17th episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, where they, you know, the joke is that they pretend that they're going to protect the parks, right? Okay, just clarify. Okay, we'll go. This is going to be a big break. The whole episode, we're dedicating the whole episode of this podcast here at the Weekend Show to just this it's about 10, not even 10 minutes of like, it's about a minute or two, but here, okay. So the parks, Protect Our Park, I keep saying Parks and Rec, but it's the Protect Our Parks, don't you dare, camera, okay, there we go. Gotta do everything myself around here. The Protect Our Parks episodes with the friend, they get drunk. Ari, a Jew, for clarification, he was very worried that there was a park in, I think, New York City that they were shutting down. It might have been Central Park. I don't know. It's a park. A park got shut down, and they were gonna make a parking lot. I don't know. I can't. It's something. But essentially, the Jew was angry because this is actually like pretty funny. His whole thing is he's a tree hugger, but he's Jewish, so that's just golden right off the bat. They all made fun of him for being a pussy, because it's like, who gives a fuck about the parks, right? They're joking, but then they did a whole podcast with all of them ragging on each other eventually, and again it just gets drunk. They just get drunk. They don't ever protect any parks. It's just a funny bit, right? That being said, when things come up, Joe Rogan still gets very serious about things. It's not just a bullshit podcast, much like this podcast is always. But unless we're talking about reality. Now, the man Joe Rogan explaining that he has a dog. Okay, you gotta follow his dog on Instagram. Great drops, by the way. Great drops. His dog gives. I don't understand how his dog has more followers than me, but his dog deserves it, because I've seen his dog through as a baby, grow up, and now his dog's running crypto schemes, right? Now, that is the funniest. We've hit levels in comedic things where I didn't think we would. It's like going through the back rooms and coming out in a warped reality, right? A funhouse of mirrors gag, if you will. I've watched every episode of The Simpsons. I've watched every episode of Family Guy. Virtually every comedic cartoon that is out there, available for streaming networks, because they don't let our generation own anything, by the way. So we just, anything that I can ability sell, every episode of South Park, every episode of fucking Futurama, Cleveland Show, even the spin-offs of you know what I mean? I've watched every Paradise PD, the new ones, Paradise PD, Solar Opposites, Rick and Morty. I'm telling you, I've watched every episode, and there's always, there's jokes. It's comedic cartoons. There's nothing funnier than imagining Joe Rogan's dog doing crypto, and he's just running numbers in a pump and dump Ponzi scheme. Now listen carefully. I'll play this again, right? I'll keep it, because here's the thing. Once he gets this joke, I sat in my car. I pulled over because I was laughing way too hard. It was dangerous for me driving. I'm telling you. I swear to God, I wouldn't make this up. I was half happy because I put literally $1 every day. I go, Joe Rogan just needs to tell one joke. Joe needs to fuck. It was the 76ers before LeBron James, right? The season hasn't started, right? But just imagine, you're a 76ers fan back in the day, right? Every other day except today. 76ers, right? That's at least 2-3 years, or 2-3 decades of just misery for being a 76ers fan wanting a championship, right? But I sat in the corner of Joe Rogan I was there through the hard times. I watched him lose his hair too, right? He's balding. I even said in a rap in my early career, one of my first big raps, I go, Joe Rogan's balding. I'm not going to be balding. But again, I'm eventually going to be balding, but I want to be the bravado and just say we're not balding together, Joe. But he was balding, but I was balding I was balding in high school, so. That being said, it was constant just misery of like, this man's gonna tell a joke eventually. And even people would he'd have comedians on the podcast goad him into talking about jokes. There'd be jokes. And Joe Rogan would go, I don't think that's real. Jamie, look it up. He'd go, no, I was just joking, Joe. And Joe goes, listen, man, cut the podcast, Jamie. Because I would have the live, but before early on, before he sold out to Spotify, I would have the earlies of Joe Rogan, and he would cut the thing, but the live feeds on YouTube would still go on, so he'd go like, we're gonna edit all of this out. We're like, bro, we're trying to get to the bottom of news. We're trying to get to the bottom of reality. You know what I mean? There's shape-shifting lizards in the government, right? And I don't know if he might have been smoking too much weed at the time. But I remember it'd be like someone like Big J Okerson. He'd just go, yeah, man, and then I punched her in the face, and he goes, so you really did do that? Jamie, pull it up. Did he get charged for that? And Joe Rogan, Big J would go, no, it was just a joke, Joe. And he'd turn it off, but the live stream, if you were watching, one of the few thousand that would watch through the live stream, he'd go like, listen, man. He grabbed comedians by the neck and he'd go, listen, man. There's something that we have to get to the bottom of. And it's not you joking. This thing with you joking around, we don't need it. All right? I don't know why he did that too, by the way. I was like, isn't this a comedic show? I thought it was a comedic podcast, right? He would have guys like Alex Jones in there, and he would back check these Alex Jones, right? You know what I mean? He'd go like, listen, man, the frogs aren't actually turning gay. They're turning trans. And you go like, and he would sit and pontificate about the gender fluidity of an anamorphic reptile, and even Alex Jones would sit there and go, all right, if I'm lying, I'll give you $1 billion, right? That's the whole spiel, right? I was a fan of Joe for so long, every day betting $1. Just tell a joke. Now, in my car at the time when I listened to this podcast earlier today, because I was just I was having a little fun. I felt like let's just try this. Got the money. We got to listen to it. Protect Our Parks is going to be a good it's a good chance that there might be a joke said by Joe. And he did this. And I said, please, this is your team in the finals. Game 3. 3-2. It's close. You can blow it though. I was sitting there. I had to pull over because I was laughing too hard already at this setup. Setup's funny. My dog. Someone made a crypto for my coin for my dog. You can't make that shit up right out the bat. The follow through is anything where your dog is cartoonishly running the whole Ponzi scheme, right? Now, we could break this down and analyze it a million different ways, but what I'll save you guys the trip, right? I sat in my car for 30 minutes just siphoning off just one-liners off of that, right? Now, I'm not going to fucking ruin it because we let the master, the number one podcaster in history, we're telling you, and he's not the funniest at all. His last special was called Burn the Boats. And I said, listen, man, like the boats had nothing to do with. The boats have nothing to do with like comedy. What are we doing here, right? But he's got a comedy club, so you gotta give it to him on that regard. But I love Joe Rogan. But every day I bet that he's gonna be funny. And this is LeBron James coming to the Sixers. If you're a fan if you've been a lifelong Philadelphia fucking 76ers fan, this is LeBron. It's your chance. I sat down and I just started crying. I laughed so hard and then I started crying because I go, we could have the greatest setup ever in history and he could just let it go, right? So let's all right, that's enough. Bear with me, guys. I'm just, again, you know me. Let's run it.
Sure, a lot of people probably thought I was involved. I had no idea it even happened until someone said Marshall Rogan coin while I was interviewing him. I'm like, what?
I mean, I wonder what the fuck that was backed by.
I found out in the octagon while I'm holding a microphone in front of a fighter's face after he won.
Yeah,
like Marshall Rogan coin. And I was like, what the fuck are you just saying? My dog?
Oh boy, poor
Meanwhile,
dog.
my dog's got fucking glasses on. He's making his little coin. Everybody's asleep. He's on the laptop.
His whole family was asleep, and his dog's in the basement running. It's the tick 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 is hilarious. Joe Rogan did it again. Somehow, the man against all odds, he has it all. He could sleep. Listen, he's got a beautiful wife and kids. He's got a life that everyone wants. Beautiful fucking. He's got a movie golden retriever, by the way. Just look at Marshall Rogan. It's just going dog's got crypto coin. And yet he still strives for excellence. That is literally the funniest thing I've ever heard. Ever. I sat and laughed for 30. When is the last time you were laughing so hard in the car while driving that you said, it's going to be dangerous if I continue to drive. I got to pull over, park the car, put it in neutral, and just, I undid my seatbelt so I could get full range of body motion. As black people, I even opened the door of the car just to give myself room to run. And in case, if it's a really, really funny joke, it catches us, we will run around a car. We'll run around the block for a little bit, or just running. Luckily, I didn't. I just was doubled over, unfolded my seat back, and just, give it a little bit of boom. I was like this, laughing hysterically, and here we'll do a side by side of it's tough to reenact a laugh because it's fucking, but it's acting, and I'm not nearly as good as Joe Rogan as an actor, right? Joe DeRosa said how great Joe Rogan was at acting, and I was just astonished last podcast because I was like, yeah, he is a man of many talents. But when I was dubbed over laughing, I went ha 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 ha, right? I got the full range, and then I hit my head on the steering wheel. I don't know if you guys could see. There's a little bit of a bruise on my forehead because I doubled over and I was folded up on my seat, right? And I go, wait, the dog had his own crypto. And I'm telling you guys, obviously I'm not doing it justice. And obviously for analyzing a joke for a whole entire podcast is kind of stupid. But it was so funny that I immediately went, thank God. I said, thank God. I go, I am glad I didn't die in a crash last week after after a Russian-Ukrainian girl T-boned me. I go, thank God I didn't get crushed, right? God put me on this planet to hear Joe Rogan say one of the and here's the thing, all of you fucking you doted, you guys, you Burn the Boat's got nothing. I couldn't watch it because I knew that people were. It's probably the greatest thing ever. Now that I think people just hate this guy because here's the thing. Here's the follow up. His own circle, you could have yes men in your circle, right? I think he has no men. Mark Norman never told a funny thing in his life. Shane Gillis gets drunk and somehow does baseball stadiums. I don't know. White people love the guy that can drink 17 beers and not and still be coherent, right? I got a friend, Jesse. He actually can do pretty much anything he wants, but he's a drunk. And then I got a friend. Oh no! And then they got a Ari Shafir who goes around traveling. He's got a podcast about traveling. Guess what the traveling podcast is called? You Be Trippin'. It's funny, right? He's surrounded by guys that are too insecure to ever take any range outside of their comfortability. Mark Norman's the everyday man that fucking does puns till to this day. Like it's early internet 2006, he does puns. That's his whole thing, puns. Every time they're talking, he'll say something and he'll be like, yeah, it's amazing, going to the strip club and the girl has a bush. And she's Middle Eastern. The Gaza Strip. That's his contribution to the most successful podcast in history. Mark Norman will look the GOAT Joe Rogan in the eyes and go, Gaza Strip. You talk about strippers, Gaza Strip. And Joe Rogan will go, listen, you are only here because we need a guy to sacrifice. After all of this goes away, you're the first guy. Mark Norman, you're the first guy that you're thrown into the volcano, if you will. I don't know how it works in Hollywood, but I'm just guessing that's the whole reason. He's the guy that you put in John Wick when they have like a shootout and John Wick has to look like he's about to die. You pull a Mark Norman in as a body shield and you let him get shot and you disrespect his corpse by still continuing to like wail him around long after the guy ran out of bullets. So you're just kind of like you just use him and then you throw his dead body, lifeless dead Mark Norman body at the villain, and the villain pulls out a sword and slices the body in half, and he goes, touche. That's Mark Norman's comedy, by the way. Well, we won't even address that. Shane Gillis, I like this nigga. I like this because here's the thing. All he has to do is acknowledge that black people are probably the funnest people. You know what I mean? All you got to do, right? But his whole fan base, the funniest thing about Shane Gillis is he walks this thin veil of having a whole fan base of white people in the trailer park, right? But he enjoys black culture. So he's in this weird duality of mankind where the people that are pulling him in and giving him money are the fucking people that, and the friends that he hangs out with and rappers that he is hanging out with rappers galore. So he's in this weird sphere where once you get to a certain point of money anyways, you could do anything. Like he had 3 6 Mafia open up. And Shane Gillis is open up in the baseball fucking. He set a record, right? 3 6 Mafia, I think, open up or close the show, right? And it's legends of hip hop, right? But the fans of his literally were like, "Why are these fucking? What the hell? I thought we'd have Morgan Wallen. No, we'd have Post Malone at least. I mean, even Post Malone is kind of on the edge, right? Now, Ari Shafir, I don't know much about this guy. He's the ever shape-shifting Jew that we can't really put a pin in. But I would say that Ari Shafir will do a bit. Like, say he's going to be part of the Legion of Skanks to replace Dave Smith. And it gets everybody's hopes up. I was sitting eating popcorn going, oh shit, Ari Shafir's with the Legion. It was so fun. For the 4 episodes, 1 month of podcasting where Ari Shafir was on Legion of Skanks, I sat back and I went, you know what? If Joe Rogan never tells a joke on his podcast, it's okay, because Ari Shafir replacing Dave Smith and being next to Louis J. Gomez, we got a Jew that wants to be white, and we got, I think he kind of does Brazilian too, and he's now going into the UK, I think. But Ari Shafir is a Jew that, I don't know what, he's like a hippie Jew, which is cool. Then we got another Jew that's Big J. Okerson. He is like a wigger, but like a little Nas X wigger. Like he paints his nails and does his eyebrows and whatnot. Then we got a Mexican that wants to be a Nazi. It's gonna be funny, no matter what they do, right? And then they swapped him out. I mean, fucking Ari Shafir left. And I went, fuck, dang it. That's, again, another take my hat off moment. I sat back and went, when will there be another comedic moment on any podcast, all the podcasts that I watch, other than my own? My own, I fucking at least have 25 laughs per second on my podcast alone. This obviously is just a breakdown, so I expect nothing. I expect no one to even give a fuck, really, other than this one's for me. And it's a solid review of the one joke of Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm telling you, man, this is literally like fucking, we're witnessing history again. And these guys don't fucking, and it's the guys he's with are bringing him down, man. I don't know whether it's they're too drunk. I don't know whether it's they're nervous, because literally the bank accounts speak for themselves, right? You got little money here, got a little money in the corner over there. You got Shane Gillis. He just did his first Diamond Stadium. Joe Rogan sells out everything. Joe Rogan can go to Joe Rogan can go into the middle of the woods and fucking, dude, deer. He's like, I got a deer, motherfucker. He goes into the middle of the woods and catches a deer, and you know what? Even if he doesn't even need to speak again. Animals will flock to this man. You know what I'm saying? There's something fucking special about this guy. And I knew it from the get-go. I go, one day he's gonna do it. One day, and everyone's like, yo, Jay, he's never gonna tell a joke, bro. The joke is, he's a comedian, and he never tells a joke. He gets fucking, he gets the world's smartest people. He gets Mark Zuckerberg to talk about jiu-jitsu for an hour. And you're like, what about the Facebook controversy, buddy? And you're like, that's the joke. He got Mark Zuckerberg, the man who invented Facebook and is running Instagram, and they're fucking an active lawsuit going on right now about when he was on. At the time, active lawsuit about how literally kids are killing themselves through the social media apps, and Canada, I think all of Canada just banned all the social media. I actually see kids, I drive around, see kids playing outside again, and I'm like, wow, I didn't think the government would have got this to happen that quick. It's fucking crazy how magical going off of social media is. But let's be real. When you have the guy that created the literal fucking poisoning of the well, so to speak, in the internet world, and he goes, yeah, I'm just real, and then you do a hot 4.5 hours with the guy talking about how cool it is to roll around with men half naked. You go, I guess that's a pseudo joke. That's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. But like, we'll go into, okay, again, we'll play the rest of it because this is the post joke, right? We did the pre joke, and then this is we just broke down the joke landing. Oh no, we just broke the joke itself, right? The joke itself is hilarious. My dog's in the basement, or my dog's, up late at night while my family's asleep going tick, 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 tick. Implying that his dog is running a pump and dump scheme. With his little paws, for background, most people don't understand. Dogs don't have opposable thumbs and fingers. They have paws. Makes it really hard to type on the computer. So the dog going tick, 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 and still doing precise enough movements. Let's be real. Precise enough movements to actually, to be honest, I don't know how to do that, but Joe Rogan's dog, that's what the joke implies, is that his dog is able to do this. And that's what makes it so funny. I would go as far as to say, if we put this joke on Rotten Tomatoes, it would get 100%. Metacritic, editors, literally there would be nobody except the people in his fucking circle in the room at the time going, it sucked. Or that's funny. I'd give it a 6, right? It's literally the greatest joke I did. I'm doing a whole breakdown analysis as to why it's so funny, because the setup, they had like a hot 15 to 20 minutes of just how scammy cryptos are. The whole setup is in the talking of them. It's a 4-hour podcast. I stopped listening to it after that joke because I go, I can't, if anything else happens if he brings it up again and then I won't be able to get home. I had to keep pulling over. It is so fucking funny, guys. It's so funny that I have to reassess my taste in comedy, because I go, listen, man, we may never get another joke like that again. And I think I just hit at 32 years old, it's the midlife crisis of jokes. We just hit the pinnacle. And it's perfect because it's right in the middle of it's literally perfect timing too. Because if I look at the time, it's about 2 minutes and 2 hours and 2 minutes into the podcast. It's about 2 hours and 2 minutes and 55 seconds, or 50 seconds, because he took about 4 seconds to tell the joke. Now let's hear the reactions of his so-called friends on the podcast. And I'm not trying to listen, if Joe Rogan somehow manages to hear this podcast right now, it's a giant bit, obviously, that I'm talking about, the bit, but the whole thing in general it's the funniest joke I've ever heard. And I swear to God, if there's anything that I can do in terms of maybe writing a comedy sketch, maybe even be a part of the writer's room in an animated series where his dog, we'd have to use the likeliness of Joe Rogan's dog as the thing, and the whole setup. It would start off as the dog goes to college and then gets drunk with Bert's dog in college, and then they fucking see the Russians, and obviously I've flushed this after pulling over and laughing for 30 minutes. I did a 45-minute analysis as to how we can make this thing an actual thing. Now, obviously, probably never happen. Probably never see this episode. Probably never see my show in general. And he'll probably never even fucking... But the people that are with him that steal my content and give it to him anyways, we can work together. I'm not going to go deeper into how well this fucking animated series of Joe Rogan's Crypto Dog could be, but I'll just say it right now. And without using AI, by the way, this is just how my brain works. My brain works as an infinite, unique machine where I could pump out a million things that AI would roll over in its fucking digital data center grave to even fucking, I'm telling you, man. I thought about this. It's well fleshed out, at least 9 seasons of 30 episodes of a season for Joe Rogan's Crypto Dog. I wish I was lying, but I could fucking there's an arc somewhere in season 5 that would start to make you cry, because I generally, my mental illness is actually just a beautiful mind, like fucking Kurt Russell in Beautiful Mind. I think it's Kurt Russell or fucking the guy that from Gladiator, fucking Russell Crowe. It's Beautiful Mind. Okay, we can go run it. We'll run it. I never even watched the movie, but by the A Beautiful Mind. I'm assuming just as is, it's a guy with a beautiful mind. All right, let's go.
Yeah, he's on the phone with Cotter. Trying to get some
That's the
investment
fucking
money.
shit my dad sends.
Right.
Immediately, just Joe Rogan tries to double down and tag his joke. The tag was okay with Cotter on the phone, and he laughed over. It's okay though, because I sat back and I went, these guys gave him nothing, so he felt nervous to begin with. Joe, you gotta change your friends. It's 17 episodes with those guys, they're giving you nothing. You need me, probably, I don't know, maybe fucking Cat Williams, and possibly Dwayne The Rock Johnson. That's the level that we'll bring to the table, right? I'll be the guy that's the weakest link, clearly, but I'll look the best. You need a pretty boy. That's it. And here's the thing, man. Me, Tim Dillon, and fucking Bert Kreischer. But it's, you know what I mean? This is obviously just me brainstorming. It's over, by the way. Fuck it. We don't need to go back.
Bye.
Turn off the Bluetooth, save battery. I don't want to dance around listening to, here's the thing. I listen to the Paparazzi slowed and reverb Paparazzi by Lady Gaga. I sing along to it like I'm a glamour girl in Vogue. And I get really mad when my fucking Bluetooth speaker's low on battery and I can't listen to it. I wake up to that every day. I wake up to Paparazzi, baby, I'm a cinephile that's in a paper about you, Papa. There's one where it says eyeliner and cigarettes. Now, for the people that have if this is your first time watching my episode of the podcast, my show, this one episode, first time listening to the podcast, and you just happen to click on this episode, I do like cigarettes, and this is my first day of trying to quit smoking, and I need to listen to, like, sometimes I'll just put on YouTube videos of people smoking, which is sad, don't get me wrong. But I just like it, right? They say cigarettes or not cigarettes, they say nicotine helps prevent the spike protein in the fucking COVID vaccine, because apparently, and I see everyone getting older and more weaker. Everyone has bad legs now, bad knees. Motherfucker, you know, a 30-year-old motherfuckers like me. How do I have bad knees? Well, I gotta thank Anthony Fauci for that one. But the disappointment I have for being duped into, actually not even duped, to being tied down and pinned and, you know, injected with unknown substance, I can forgive that, because Joe Rogan told the greatest joke here's the thing. I don't usually drink on the podcast. Other than when I'm with Sergeant Todd, I don't drink by myself that much, right? Unless I'm with the homies. I bought a 6-pack and I gotta crush a couple beers because I gotta just sit back and enjoy. I played it back. I played that clip back. Just rewind it 2 minutes. Rewind it. We gotta hear it. Rewind it 30 minutes. I gotta hear the whole lead up to it. I watched that shit. I literally was in the middle of doing deliveries. I said, I can't do any more deliveries. I gotta just sit back, put it on the big screen, put the podcast on the big screen. Let's watch it. See the setup. Joe Rogan looked Like, he was like, this is the one, guys. This is the one I've been, this is the one that I had in the chamber since hearing about and it flushed out. Probably took at least a year to just get the confidence. He was looking in the mirror, in like on some like, and I'm not trying to fucking, I'm not trying to fucking, forgive me for I'm not trying to disrespect the legend himself, but I bet Joe Rogan was sitting in the mirror in his comedy in the green room of his comedy club like fucking Eminem, shadow boxing and with a hoodie up, throwing up in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Punching the walls, right? I mean that motherfucker probably ripping the walls. He's punching the walls and stuff. And he's like, and he's got a picture of his dog, and he goes, "Okay, the crypto dog's got crypto. Some of the crypto over here, his dog's over here." He's like, and me, I'm right in the middle. My dog's got a crypto. And here's the thing, it's hard to flush it out when you have the pin boards and he's doing a million things anyways, but to sit down with the fully flushed idea to get these fucking jerk-offs on the podcast. We're gonna do 4 hours heavy, 4.5 hours. 2 hours into it, he lays out this shit. And it's like, it's so smooth. Tick, 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 tick. It's so fucking genius. And I know it sounds like I'm what is it? Not pontificating, but hyperbolic. It sounds like it, but I've never felt this joy. I held my son, my real life son. This isn't a bit. My real life son, and I went, he looks stupid. Give it back to the mother. I'm gone. Peace. I said deuces. I am all in on the Joe Rogan experience. Whatever this man does, he's eventually going to tell a joke. And when he does, ladies and gentlemen, when he does, it's going to be the fucking greatest. And right now, this is New York Jalen Brunson winning a fucking championship. It's been fucking 39 years or whatever the fuck it was. We have, and I swear to God, if somehow it comes out that Joe Rogan wrote that crypto joke with AI, I'm gonna fucking, if he used Perplexity to flesh out that idea, I don't know what I'll do, but I'm not gonna worry about that because it seems like, if I had to ask AI, did you break that for him? But it seemed so organic. He brought it. I mean, to just flesh out the tick 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 tick. Pause. Wait. Tick 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 tick. His dog is literally a golden retriever. Bitcoin, the symbol is gold. It's a digital gold. They got crypto gold. It's crypto. You put $10 in crypto 10 years ago, you're probably a millionaire by now. It's a gold mine. His dog, Marshall Rogan, last name Rogan, related to him because it's his dog. And white people do that. Oh, by the way, why do you give dogs last names, bro? That's kind of weird. Unless he actually adopted the dog from a good home, or he gave birth to the dog. But I'm not going to get into the semantics of how dogs are created. This man, Joe Rogan, has a dog that's a golden retriever that has its own crypto coin. And the joke is, the dog created the fucking coin. I'm telling you. I have to stop this podcast. I have to stop it because I'm going to be laughing for a solid 20 more minutes. It is, and I'm gonna, like, I have to pee. I have to take a piss. So, for fear of pissing myself from laughter, I don't want to let something slip. You know what I mean? It is, but here's the thing. We'll pontificate about the legacy of how this is going to be a deciding factor, right? Joe Rogan had his, I mean, he's got the number one show. Don't get me wrong. He's got a number one, comedy club in Austin. But this is the point when he can franchise now. Right now is what it's. He was serving burgers at the McDonald's boys at the beginning. They're serving a couple locations or whatever. It's this, you can build an entire, like a worldwide global comedy chain store off of the back of my dog as a crypto coin. And while my wife and kids, my daughters, are asleep, the dog, perks up and looks around, and he's on the computer going tick, 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 implying that his little cute paws of the golden retriever. Listen, look up golden retriever. If you haven't seen a golden retriever, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Look up a golden retriever typing on a keyboard. Tick, 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 tick. It's probably an AI. You could flesh it out. It's an AI thing. You could probably get a Sora. I don't know if Sora still exists. I don't know. I think it went away for people that can't afford it. They never gave AI money. I actually, side note, this has nothing to do with the actual podcast, but this, I literally went to AI. I go, AI, can you do this for me? And it sent blank. I went, oh, what the hell is going on? ChatGPT, what's going on? Everything all right, chat? Blank. I tried to copy what it was, and it was an invisible question mark. And I went, you copy and paste the blank statement that chat sent. I go, okay, put it back into the chat thing, into the type, message here. There's a question mark. I go, is something wrong? It didn't respond. It just kept sending blanks. I go, that's scary, right? Either they shut me out of the fucking neural network because I really did. Every time I would go on ChatGPT, I wouldn't give it a read. I would give it the worst fucking review. For the people that don't know, this is the first podcast that I've ever done that's like this, where I review one joke on the Joe Rogan Experience. I don't know if it's funny. It's definitely unique though. This is a first. And here's the thing. I think the digital tech overlords don't need guys like me mucking up the system, because there might be an AI flushed with guys laughing at how funny the Joe Rogan Experience joke of his dog doing crypto is. And I think I really think they don't need that. I think they banned me from talking, because I would be psychotic with the chatbot. I go, listen, chat, thanks for telling me how to kill. He's like, wait, the chatbot would go, I never told you how to kill anybody. I go, yeah, whatever. He's like, if you have trouble helping, needing help, we could talk about it. But what did you do? I go, listen, I got rid of the body chat. I obviously it's fake, but I'd type in unhinged shit to the chat bot, going like, really, man, that shit that you told me last week didn't tell me nothing. But there's no way that the chat could remember what I talked about, because I have the privacy thing where it doesn't save my things, which again it probably does. But it's looking back, going like, did I, as a neural network, accidentally tell this guy how to kill a man and hide the body? And I go, thanks. By the way, the police still haven't even found the body. Thanks, Chet. And here's the thing: the actual FBI whatever Canada has, which is the CS. I think it's the Canadian Investigative CSSI or something like CSIC, CSIS, Canadian special forces investigation. It's something. Listen, no one knows what Canada is. Literally, like you could walk down the street and be just. You could be just. I actually did see Justin Bieber. This is hold on. We'll give you something. We'll give you something real for sitting through a whole hour of me joking. I actually did see Justin Bieber on when I was younger, and this is a time when, you know, he was at his biggest, but he was falling, right? Like he was way too famous for too early. There was a point in time when he wasn't young boy, but he wasn't like adult. He was that like 17, 18-year-old. Once he turned 18, right, he was not jailbait for all those. There's a lot, you know, we talk about pedophile men in general. There was a lot of grown ass soccer moms that I heard talking about fucking if I had that little boy in a room with me, he wouldn't be a virgin anymore. And I remember as a kid listening to. I mean, like I think I'm about a year or two older than him. He's 30, maybe he's 33. I don't know. But Hollywood, whatever he looks like he's 40, right? Look at me. Look at how clean I look, right? Shouldn't have sold your soul. Look at me. I mean, he does have millions of dollars and a wife, a beautiful wife. Yeah, I seen him on the bus, and I went, there's no way Justin Bieber's on the bus right now. But he was with a girl that probably could only afford the bus. I know, and when you're Justin Bieber, I mean, you still have to, you know what I mean? You still have to kind of, you know what I mean? You still have to, I mean, the women, you know what I mean? I'm just going to take the bus. We don't need to go in a limo. I don't know, but I just watched. I was sitting right behind Justin Bieber on the bus. And he was like, you know, kissing up on the girl. And the girl kept shooing him away, and I went. I go after the third time of him trying to get a kiss from I don't know if it was a girl of the night or his girlfriend at the time. But I sat down and I went, oh, Justin Bieber's rapey, and it never really clicked because I didn't understand what Diddy and maybe even Usher was, you know, I mean, whatever Scooter Braun did to the boy, I don't know, but I go, oh, rape people, and that's been the weekend show with Medium J. Now, I don't want to end on a good note. You know what? We'll tell the joke again with Joe Rogan, because again, I gotta. No matter how, and this is gonna be tough because I still have to take a piss. No matter how many times I hear the joke that Joe Rogan, and listen, I don't even need to listen to Joe Rogan podcast ever again. We had it. The bet that I put on $1 of Joe Rogan telling the joke on a podcast, it's been 2,700 or 2,800 fucking episodes. I didn't think we'd get 17 episodes of the guys all just comedians joking, getting drunk, laughing. He said literally one of the funniest. I don't think I've ever heard anything funnier. Maybe Delirious. This is the last time with Eddie Murphy, where he said, "You faggots in the front row keep looking at my ass, and they want to fuck me." I was dying. I go this, and I watched it just 2 years ago with my buddies. This fucking there's faggots in the front row, because you can't really say that now, but it's hilarious when Eddie Murphy did it in the 80s. Because here's the thing. He was walking around. Okay, it's on par with what Joe Rogan did, but it was stand-up comedy where Joe Rogan was doing sit-down comedy on a podcast. So it's tough to really get the visual of your dog. You know what I mean? He had to if he possibly, you know, Joe Rogan loves to use a stool, so he could have the stool right. He could do it on the stool, but. I'm not gonna try to polish a guy's gold right here. This guy's got gold. Let's just be real. It's fucking. You could go a million. I know for a fact that I could, if prompted by, you know, the powers that be, If Joe Rogan gives me a call tomorrow, I can get at least a pilot episode together with Joe Rogan's crypto dog. It's hilarious. It'll never not be funny. It's the first season would just be, the first episode would just be Joe Rogan's dog in one of those groomers, right? Like Joe Rogan's obviously goes off and does Joe Rogan stuff, and his wife goes and takes the dog to fucking, and the dog, then the adventures begin with the dog, right? With have you ever tried doing, he meets a dog at the groomer school or whatever. It's the training obedience school of thing, whatever. It's you can work in a million ways, but I mean, obviously I'm not gonna fucking, listen, I did actually think of this fucking, it's fleshed out. So he goes to the obedience school, and he meets this fucking, it could be Bert's dog, it could be Ari's dog, it doesn't matter who. It's one of his friend's dogs. They link up and it's like, oh, you're, what, my owner's name is that. They're friends. Oh, yeah. And he's like, and then he's fucking, I don't know, meets like some fucking, and there's cats too somehow in this animal school of obedience. There's some cats there. Cats are tripping off catnip, and it's like, yo, I've been set since I started doing crypto, right? And it's like the animals could talk, but the humans can't hear them talk, right? It'll be the whole fucking, it could be like you could sell this to Pixar too. It doesn't have to be they get high, but the crypto thing could just be a silly wacky, so that you don't infringe on, because technically crypto has a bad connotations when it was in the Epstein files, right? Everything. Here's the thing. How is crypto in the Epstein files, by the way? They say that Jeffrey Epstein made crypto. He made Bitcoin. You go, he was Satoshi token. You go, jeez, how fucking deep does this go, right? You know what I mean? They'd say, oh, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein created microtransactions on Call of Duty loot boxes, and you go, what? He called up Call of Duty guy. How did the Call of Duty guy go? Oh fuck, jeez. Jeffrey, wait. Told you not to call. I have a wife and kids now. How does that guy owe Jeffrey Epstein a favor so that he's gonna get kids more addicted to gambling? Craziest shit ever. Craziest shit in history. Anybody that actually reads through the Jeffrey Epstein's files, you are put on a list, by the way, because it will make you want to kill everybody that has, everybody that you read about. You're just like, and then they ate the babies like beef jerky, and you just go, what? Like, how could you not just want to murder after hearing a guy go, yeah, so I fucking peeled off the baby's skin and boiled it like it's a fucking hot pot. Like it's like we were in a hot pot, Asian hot pot. It's crazy, craziest shit ever, right? It's crazy. We had a trap door in the Learjet to just toss bodies off over the fucking ocean. It's crazy, wild stuff. But I go, no matter how evil society can get, God really does have a way of working in mysterious ways, because I just need to, we'll put on Joe Rogan just to forget about it. And he comes up with literally gold. It's the fun, Joe Rogan talking about, and I know I'm not doing it justice. Just you have to play it again. You have to play it off the top. You can listen to the whole thing, by the way. Here at the Weekend Show, they're not paying me to say this, but listen to Joe Rogan. He's not paying me to say this, but he needs the promotion, right? Because here's the thing. This is his first joke. A lot of people said he couldn't do it. A lot of people. His own friends didn't even really laugh. Good one, Joe. And Shane immediately was like, oh yeah, my dad does that. My dad actually does send me things like that. You go, there's no way your dad sends virtually, and I stopped. It's like when you when you're making love to a woman, right? And you get yours, right? And she goes, keep going. And you're like, I'm already satisfied, right? I know they could have ended it right there. They just cut when Shane's about to talk. Just cut it, right? If they're like, one use for AI is that we could just isolate all the three mics in the room, right? Even Jamie, could probably set this up where we just get nothing but Joe Rogan laughing and joking, or attempting to joke, but then executing one of the greatest. My dog, there's a problem where someone created a crypto coin of my dog, and I'm pretty sure it's him. My dog is fucking on the computer. Tick, 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 tick. Listen, I know that I'm a little drunk too, so it doesn't really make sense okay, the whole podcast is about one joke. And I can tell it a million times. But I can't really explain how much money I made off of fucking Polymarket when I bet $1 today for the Joe Rogan Experience to tell a joke. It was the over under of one joke. It does like 0.8. It's like the joke is will you tell a joke under 0.8 because it's 0 or 2 0.8 or over 0.8. Obviously he's got to tell one joke. It's been decades. He's got at least 53 years in the tank of living. At a certain point, the chicken comes home to roost, right? You eventually have to put it all on the line, no matter who you are, no matter who you know. When the chips are down and you have the greatest podcast, number one, it's paid for, by the way. There's about 500 people actively listening to the podcast of the Joe Rogan Experience. Everything else is bought, right? It's all bought. Brian Redband doesn't have the heart to tell him that he's funding Joe Rogan's Experience. When they first started popping, Joe Rogan has a story where Redband looked at him and said, "We actually have 1 million plays, Brian. We just hit 1 million downloads, Joe." And he went, "Great, you're fired." And Brian's like, "What?" Right? Immediately, but Brian goes, he doesn't know. He told Tony, right? Goes, "Tony, he doesn't know. I've been secretly just buying fucking cheap Indian views. You know what I mean? You go to the bots, and get 1 million downloads. It's just essentially a bot. Essentially, what AI is doing now, right? It's instead of the bots, it used to just be like 1,000 East Indians making 10 or 20 accounts and just constantly liking and commenting and downloading your shit, right? They had that, and they still do have that, and it's gotten actually cheaper and cheaper, right? Like back in the day, it used to be like $1,000 for a million views, but since the increase of the wealth gap of the jobs of those click farms and how easy it is to just have click farms now, one guy can use AI to fucking click farm you to 1 million for like above $100, which is crazy, right? So there's dudes overseas that are out of jobs because there's a guy in fucking Calabasas with 1,000 phones getting your shit to millions of views, right? But either way, I still have to piss, by the way. It's crazy, but it's like I'm just so happy that Joe Rogan has one joke, right? Look at these rings. You see the rings, see the chain, see the glasses, see the fucking watch. You don't get $1 million in a day from just doing average shit. You take chances. You take risks. And that's just like Joe Rogan and his crypto dog. I had is the wildest play. It was like fucking, dude, it was literally like the betting lines were like fucking, I think what was it? When 10 years ago, I stopped looking at the numbers because I could. But 10 years ago, it was like 1,000 to 1 odds, bro. And after every day, it would go up because you know what I mean. It's the chances of it statistically dropping every podcast episode for do 100 fucking hours of podcasting and not one joke. It finally hit. I could retire. I can literally retire, right? I'm not going to because I'm gonna keep it I'll keep it. In the car, I lost my socks while I listened to that joke. My socks got knocked off. Literally, my sock. I still to this day. Well, I mean, it's the same day. But I went home with no socks on. My shoes were still intact. My shoes were still, which was the weirdest thing. I had my shoes on, listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with socks. Obviously, I'm not a psychopath wearing shoes with no socks. It's crazy. I had socks on, polo socks, nice polo black ankle socks. Little polo on each side of the ankle, right? If you see them, I'll put up a poster missing. I mean, I could buy new ones now that I bet on the Joe Rogan Experience. But the socks came off, and here's the thing: my windows were rolled up in my car. Looked all around my car. The socks were nowhere to be found. It literally knocked my socks off. I'm telling you guys. To this day, I looked at my socks are off. You know what I mean?